Hi guys, welcome to Tony Talks. My name is Tony Rice, Chief Instructor of Yarm Martial Arts, and thank you very much if you've joined us the first time. Okay, great to see you, and if you're a follower of ours, obviously you know where the link as we go along with these talks. The Tony Talks is basically what we say to mat chats in regards to parents, adults and our children, students, in what we do in gauging where martial arts fits into normal life basically. Right, today's talk is mainly, we spoke last week about goals and how why we have goals, and you know, in attaining a goal is to reach an achievement. Okay, so basically if you look at the black belts, you know, and the backwards of the way you go right down to white belts. Okay, so it could be white belt to black belt, reverse, depends how you look at it. But like goal setting, you look at the black belt and you work your way backwards. Now, it's not about the achievement in its such, it's about the journey, and that's what I want to talk about today. But before I do that, I want to talk about belts within the martial arts system, because if you translate that, say the achievement of someone doing martial arts is to reach a black belt, so the goal is the black belt, that's the achievement. And if you work it back, each martial art has its belts as to go downwards and work backwards down to white belt or no belt for a beginner. Them little steps are goals that you reach for, little goals, okay? So you reach the yellow belts in our system, then you go to orange, to green, to blue, and obviously the technique gets harder and you have to remember a lot more, so you have to practice more. So the perseverance and the journey, that's where it's connected to. The journey of practicing and keep on going. Now, just in regards to a theory of the belts, many years ago, okay, it was only recently the belts were included in martial arts. A lot of martial arts just simply had a white belt and they kept training, it just turned black. It went to grey, then it went to black, and that's how the black belt was synonymous. Because you looked at somebody who had a black belt around them, it showed you how long they've been training, okay? Where with the modern method of the belts, okay, it's to encourage mainly youngsters and students to go for the next one. So they've got something to win, because a lot of times when you set a goal, if you set it too far, you never achieve it, because you need the little increment goals as you go along. Now this relates to the journey. Okay, there's a lot of people out there and philosophers, you go for your goals, go for your goals, go for your... But really at the end of the day, when you reach your goal, what do we do normally? A lot of people, when they reach their goals, don't actually pat themselves on the back or buy themselves a little gift for achieving that goal. Okay, we see it quite regularly at the Yarm Martial Arts Academy, where we actually see them reach the black belt and they just want to know what they're going to do next. They don't realise and not understand the journey backwards. And what we do with our students is we actually get them to write a little speech in regards to each belt level after black. One is what's it mean to be a black belt, another one is a journey of a black belt. Okay, so little conversations like that, and we actually make them do speech in front of other parents because we have our black belt presentation day. Now the reason why I do that is for them to appreciate and actually think about what actually happened in the journey from white belt to black belt, because that journey is so important, and that's one of the reasons why we have goals. And I dare say most of you probably watching this video haven't got real set goals for life goals. You know, what do you really want to achieve? Steve Covey has a great thing, the man of the 4 effective ways of improving yourself. That's not the title, but that's roughly the title. But Steve Covey, it's a great book. But basically he says start from the end, i.e. write your epitaph for your own funeral. Now it sounds a bit morbid, but it's a great starting point, because actually you're writing down your life plan. What you want people to think about you. What do you want to have achieved? You know, experiences you want to have experienced in that time of your life. Because at the end of the day, there's 2 things in life that are certain: taxes and death, unfortunately. But going back, if you work backwards that way, it's a great. But think about it. It's your life journey is not the end. Your life journey is from birth to death. It's right through that time. And it's the same as any goals you want to achieve, i.e. achievement. Think of the journey. The journey is more important than actually achieving, in my eyes. For instance, starting a white belt and reaching black belt, I always say to the students, think back to the very first class you came to. So for instance, if I've got a student that's really struggling with side kick, you know, they're good at the front kick, they're good at the round kick, but they're struggling with the side kick, and you get the the usual attitude like, oh, I can't do it, it's no good. But basically what it is we reframe them by saying, okay, stop there. Think about how far you've come. Think about how much you've achieved with your technical abilities from being a white belt to tier where we're trying to teach you the side kick. Then the mindset changes. You see it all the time, the mindset changes, and basically they say, oh yeah, because you then appreciate how much hard work they've actually done, and then the challenges they've had before doing the side kick is effectively improves their mindset. That's saying, oh well, I've done that, and within minutes they're actually getting the side kick. Yes, not perfectly, but they're actually really got better because the mindset appreciated where they come, and they physically and mentally felt, oh, I've done really well. And by just putting them in that good positive mood, good positive mindset, it sets it up. And this is one of the things about challenges. Your challenges and life challenges and your belt challenge, your martial arts or whatever sport you do or whatever activity, you'll always have challenges. And the fact is getting over them challenges, that's the journey. That is the journey what you're doing, because as you're doing your challenges, you personally improve. Because, as the saying goes, and one of my favourite sayings is, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because if you don't become uncomfortable, you sit back, you become comfortable, and basically you never test yourself. So therefore, the journey is never really that enjoyable. Although it might be enjoyable sometimes, I'm not saying you should be challenging every 2 days or I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, have a great experience through the challenge because that improves you. Now, if you don't do that, what tends to happen is you sit back and there's a spiral up and there's a spiral down. And if you stop, you start spiraling down. The simple reason is because you become lethargic, you're not mentally pushing yourself, you're not physically pushing yourself, you're not enjoying it because you're not enjoying new experiences, new feelings, new emotions in regards to pushing yourself. If you go the other way and challenge yourself, and through my own experiences, I've found that when I challenge myself, and sometimes it can be very challenging, mentally and physically, is when you're pushing yourself, i.e. building the business of Yarm Martial Arts, okay, trying to build a recruitment of a team, and that team moving on, and having to build another team to support me in regards to teaching other children and the adults in Yarm Martial Arts. Effectively, what tends to happen is like, oh, another challenge, but a whole new experience comes out of each time I build a team. There's a whole new parameters, whole new people's way of thinking, enthusiasm, non-enthusiasm, growths, where I'm trying to challenge the guys with their own goals, their own personal development, and seeing the same, how people interact differently. That's my journey. My journey is trying to help people to reach their goals, whatever it may be. And if we can help them, or I can help them, try to help them. And that's one of my journey paths. Now, if you'd asked me when I was 24, 25, I would never have thought in a million years I'd be doing this. The simple reason is because I was quiet, unconfident. As I said before in the previous videos, if you're not too sure about my journey, because I was very unconfident as a kid, very unconfident as a teenager, very unconfident as a young man, always question myself, always asking approval, am I doing it right? Is this the way to do it? And even today, I still have them doubts now and again. I've not really actually got rid of them altogether. But that shows me, that's a gauge for me, that if I need approval, okay, what do I need approval for? Sometimes it is, I do need approval to make sure I'm going in the right direction, i.e. with my business coach or any other, some of my mentors in the martial arts. I'll ask them, I'm doing the technique right, is this the way you do it? You need to ask them, people who are educating you. But also is having the approval of yourself that, yeah, I've done a good job there. Actually patting yourself on the back and saying, but I've done a good job. And actually appreciating the journey, what you've done and the challenge you have. Because a lot of us, and me included, sometimes forget. And when people prompt us that, wow, you've done an amazing job there, sometimes we don't accept that praise. And that praise is because we don't enjoy the journey, or we do not see the journey that we've achieved. All we focus on is the achievement and not the whole journey. So that's one of the reasons why I spoke last week about goals. Is not just to set goals, to do goals just for goals' sake, but to push you in a direction so you know where you're going. Now, on the journey, you might want to deviate off the journey and come back on your path, okay? And to be honest with you guys, we all do that. We all focus, we're going to get this, I'll go for that, and then we deviate. A nice shiny blue thing on the horizon, oh, we want to go and see that. So we go and see that and we'll come back, okay? That's another part of the journey. You enjoy that. So never ever feels that your journey should be set in stone and you do it. Goals are the same. Set your goals, but manipulate them. If you need to change them, change them. Because at the end of the day, they're your goals and your personal way of thinking. So basically, guys, what it is if you set your goals, as we said last week, and if you're not too sure how to set goals or the way to set them, go and have a look at the video for goals, what we did last week, and have a look at it. It'll be here on the YouTube channel. Have a look at it, sit and watch it. There's a few mentions of different people on there who I've used for books and stuff like that to get ideas how to set goals and stuff when I very first started. So basically, it'll guide you on how to do that. And once you set your goals, remember, as Steve Covey says, start from the end goal and work your way backwards, not the other way around. It's easier to finish with the goal of the idea, the dream that you want, or the idea or the achievement, and work your way backwards. Okay? When you set your goals that way, you can break the increments down, and every time you break them down, it makes it easier. So you're setting yourself up for success from day one. Not thinking it's a massive goal, but you're actually breaking it down so we get here, then we get there, then we get there. But always remember, on the journey, look back to where you started. That's what I do with all my students. I always tell them, look back at the very first day you started and how far you've come. And you've got to do that yourself, guys, because it's the journey that you need to enjoy. Enjoy the achievement, but appreciate the journey that you've been on and how you've developed as a human being and how you've got better. So if you want to hear more from us, guys, or you want to follow us, simply subscribe to the channel. And also, guys, make sure you ring the bell, okay? So you get notifications on your phone, your iPads and your computers when we put a new video up, okay? So take care, guys. Thanks very much.